Hey everybody, welcome to Spontaneous Sunday. I'm Aaron Chowes, broadcasting here from Los Angeles, California. I think the first part of that broadcast, of these first few minutes here, I had both my vocal microphone and my keyboard microphone at the same time on, so there may have been some feedback, but I tried to fix that in the last song there, so I've got to rearrange some things. I had some charts out here to help me with these tunes. The first one we had was Somewhere from West Side Story, and that is going to be in the movie coming out soon, which is the I guess sort of a remake, re-envisioning, I guess, of the original, and Steven Spielberg is directing that. And then I followed that one with a song called The Way You Look Tonight, and that is from, I believe, let's see what movie here, I wrote this down for myself, Swing Time, although I think I know it best as sung by Frank Sinatra. And then following that, another Sinatra tune actually, Luck Be a Lady Tonight, and that is from Guys and Dolls. And then following that, I just played Summer Nights from Greece. So hopefully you knew almost, if not all of those tunes. So the way this works is that if you have a song you want to hear, you can request it down below in the comments, and if not, that's okay too. We can just listen along. I've got a short list of songs planned for the evening for you all, and hopefully you have an idea sparked in the middle of the broadcast. But a good thing to do from the beginning here, I want to remind myself to do this every week now, is if you do like this video, to hit the like button below. When I do go live, if YouTube sees that I am getting people to like the video immediately, it shares that video in real time a lot easier. So if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button below right now so that maybe people can join as we're going along in the next hour or so here. It seems like from my video feed that my face is really washed out. I'm going to try to adjust a few of the lights here. It may not fix it, but I'm going to try a couple things. I have two lights on my sides here. We'll see what this does. All right, that's one light. Still a little bit washed out. Let's turn the other one down. A little bit better, I guess. I'm getting closer. It's not still great. I still look, I don't know, like just pale white ghost. All right. That's the best I can do for now, I think. Yeah, so I'm gonna move along here. Those were all tunes that followed, musicals that have had movies made out of them. Those were songs from some well-known musicals that we have also movie versions of them. So, and then following that, I'm gonna do a couple, 2 or 3 songs here from the 1950s and 60s. As I've posted online, my new album called Yesteryear is out now and available for everyone to listen to them. All those songs, there's 15 tracks on the album, and they cover a variety of styles from the 50s and 60s. And it's been a long project that I didn't quite plan to release to everyone, but I decided why not this summer. So I'll tell you the story behind all of that after I play these next few songs for you. But here's a little medley of songs from that era. All right. I still feel like my face looks a little washed out and ghost-like, but I don't know how I can fix that right now. I've got these lights, and the camera that you're seeing from my face is trying to auto-adjust to the light in the room, so I don't know how to fix that right now, but that's okay. All right, I see that Lena's here. Good to see you. So far, it shows in my video feed here that I have just you and I here. I think it's just the two of us, so that's okay. If you have songs you want to hear, that's fine. But if not, I'm glad to be hanging out here with you tonight. So there may be some others that join us later, but I'm glad it's just the two of us right now. Maybe Lacey's there as well. So good to see you all. I guess I can tell you a little bit behind this album. I might have mentioned this in the past week or so, but. So this album Yesteryear that came out on Friday was a little bit over a year in the making. Last, I want to say, maybe it was March or April when everything shut down. Well, of course, a lot of my jobs became much less in what they had required me to do, and a lot of them stopped. And so I decided to use this opportunity to learn some new things. And as you and everyone that has followed my social media the past year has known, it's been a fun learning experience of putting together videos and audio and syncing everything together and doing fun effects and finding ways to make the music that I create in a fun visual way that represents kind of what I hope to envision, what they mean and what they convey. So we had, I think the first thing I did was a Bach concert, and then we had a concert of music from the 80s, and then we had a video of, well, actually it was just almost like a movie length, sort of try and travel back into the medieval times and early music, and that's when I introduced the monks singing, and so those were those big concerts. And then of course these live streams twice a week. At the time I was doing Wednesdays and Sundays, Wednesday piano and Sunday organ. So that was a lot going on. And but anyway, in April, I started writing some songs, and I've written songs in the past just for myself. I've done a couple little small sort of demo albums for myself of songs that I just thought, I want to learn how to be a singer-songwriter and write songs. I don't think of myself as much as a singer, but I wanted to have a way to create these and record them in a way that was more permanent, so maybe someone else could take the songs and sing them a lot better. So anyway, I wrote a small album of about 8 songs. This was in April, and wrote them in a month, and then took the next month after that, around May or so, and recorded them and figured out how to distribute all of that music online so that people that were on some of the streaming services like Spotify and YouTube and other ones online, I wanted people to be able to reach that music easily. So thank you. Yeah, private concert is great. Yeah, so that's as far as I know, no one else has commented here, so it's just the two of us. So you can make it whatever you want. But anyway, I'll just finish the story, so in case someone watches the video later on, they can get an idea behind this. So I released those 8 songs online, and I didn't market them. It was more for myself, just to learn, as I was doing with video editing and everything else. I was just trying to learn how to make all of this stuff work and how to equip myself with these tools to market the music that I make. And so I think I do a good bit of work in creating music all the time, but I had not previously done a lot of work into how to reach other people with the music and how to make it easily heard. And so that first album of 8 songs is still out. If any of the same platforms that this previous album, this Yesteryear album, is out on, that same album is on those as well. It's called Solitude of Sounds. I liked the contrast of solitude and sounds, and also I was by myself every day, so it was just being quarantined, as we all were. A lot of those songs reflect kind of the time, but not entirely. There's a song in there about staying inside when it's raining and not wanting to go outside in the rain, because I don't want to get wet, and then everything that's bad is happening outside. And so if I just wait long enough, the rain will go away. And it kind of had a metaphor with what we were all going through, just staying inside long enough, and eventually this will pass. And so it's been a long journey since then. But so there's a lot of songs in the album that reflect kind of what I was experiencing at the time, and just writing songs just kind of off the top of my head. And the downside of that album, I just, in looking back on it, is that the variety of styles in that album is way all over the map. There's of course some sort of songwriting, kind of 70s singer-songwriter style songs. There's some more rock type songs. There's like an 80s sort of pop song as well. And there's an old ragtime one. The very last track is a ragtime kind of song. So it's kind of all over the place. Anyway, so I thought, well, if I want to make a real album, I will try to find a genre or an umbrella where I can fit a bunch of songs that are in the same kind of era to make an album more cohesive. So that's where this Yesterday album came into play. When I finished putting out that 8 tracks on that album, that first album, Solitude of Sounds, I began immediately writing this new album, and I didn't really have any story for it. I didn't have any kind of any reaction to what was happening. It wasn't like the first album. It was just kind of writing love songs in the style of that era. And so it ended up turning into sort of a story arc of a couple that meets and then gets together and then breaks up at the end. But it had no basis in any kind of thing that I was going through. It was just creating a story in an album. So I was also drawing from influences of things that I really liked listening to and still like listening to from growing up and even now, of that era of rock and roll, early rock and roll, and Motown and all that kind of stuff, and Ray Charles when he was doing some early blues stuff. So that's where that came from, and I wrote 15 songs with lyrics. Now, 2 of the songs that I wrote I didn't feel were strong enough for the album, so they got cut, and I replaced those with some instrumental songs. But I tried to cover the whole gamut of 50s and 60s music, so hopefully you all appreciate that. It's quite different from the music you hear that's put out today, since it sort of does throw back to an earlier time. So it's my reaction to how I would write music if I lived back then. And you can hear a lot of other artists' influence. Even the first song in that one, "Take a Chance," is very much Jerry Lee Lewis. Me trying my best to sound like him in my singing. I don't consider myself a good singer, so I always try to do the best I can to mimic other people. But and then there's a blues song in there that's kind of like Ray Charles. That's that Empty Garage song. And then of course, with all these songs, back then there was, all these backup singers that would support the main lead singer. So I didn't have any of that. So I just did it all myself. So I think the most I have is the second to last track, which is the one called Glass Half Full. I think I've got 6 or 8 backup singers of myself on top of my lead vocal singing. So just layering myself over and over again and trying to figure out what note do I sing to fit this chord of the chorus. But yeah, so that's kind of how that developed. Each song, I would say, overall has a style I'm trying to go for. There is one song on there, I don't know if anyone's caught it yet. I've told a few people about it, but there's one song on there that does, I don't want to say steal, but it does borrow from Debussy. And that, of course, Debussy's biggest, most well-known song, or his biggest hit, I guess you could say, is Clair de Lune, and which means moonlight. So there is a song in there about the moon, and it does include a bit of that Debussy Clair de Lune in the song itself, and it seemed to work out pretty well. And it's public domain, so it was free to use. But anyway, all right. Good to see you. Rachel's here. All right. Well, there's now 3 of us here, so. If there's anyone else in here that it's just showing, for me, it's just showing one person in the room right now, but since you've written here, I'm assuming you're here, Rachel. So if there's anyone else that I have not seen here, you can definitely type in hi in the comments just to let me know that you're here, and that way I'll know there's more than the three of us, but if not, that's totally okay too. So yeah, if you have any questions about those songs, where they came from style-wise, feel free to ask that. I don't know if I have an exact artist for each of those songs that I was mimicking, but there's definitely a style for each of those. I will mention the two instrumental tracks on that, except for the prelude song, the first one, which was sort of I was trying to make a song in the opening that would begin us sort of here in modern times and take us back. So that song is a whirlwind of styles, so that prelude song starts, kind of with a little orchestral thing, but then it jumps back into 3 or 4 different styles very quickly. So anyway, the first instrumental song on there is one called Fried Onions, and you may know that there was a big instrumental hit. I want to say it was in the 60s, but it may have been in the late 50s, but it was called Green Onions, and it was an instrumental song that featured the Hammond organ, and I've heard that song a lot of times in movies and TV shows and things. It's sort of a background song, but yeah, it's got a blues basis to it, and so I did a Hammond organ song, and I called it Fried Onions. So that's where that one came from. And then the other instrumental one is what was I called it? Was It Something I Said? I think was the name of the title. Was It Something I Said? And that one, if you hear in that, has this this sort of instrumental sound here, which is an old Wurlitzer electric piano sound. And there's a song by Ray Charles that isn't instrumental, but it's a hit of his called What Did I Say? What ''D, What I Say? And so my version of that, my play along in that style, is Was It Something I Said? So what I say? Was it something I said? So that's sort of the background of those instrumental songs. But anyway, hopefully you all are enjoying that, and I'm glad that it's out there now for everyone to hear. So it was a long time putting that all together. I recorded everything in June this year. That's the thing. So I wrote all these songs down. I've got a notebook that has all the lyrics written out. And at the time, I didn't really have any way to record them, so I used my cell phone, and I have voice memo audio recordings of myself at a keyboard playing these. When I finished writing the lyrics, I would just hit record on my phone and record myself singing a rough version of these songs so I could remember them for later. And so in June, I went back and listened to all those recordings and made the whole album that way, and then spent most of July and part of August mixing those recordings, which takes a long time for me because I'm not a mixer, and getting everything to sound balanced, and you can hear all the instruments and all the vocals and everything are in the right place. So anyway, I'm glad that project is out there for everyone to enjoy, and we will see what the next project becomes. I've got 2 more albums planned for the rest of this year. I hope to get both of those done. They don't involve songs in the sense of lyrics, but they will be mostly instrumental albums. So we'll look forward to that next. All right. So that's the backstory behind that album. It's now recorded here on this live stream, so you can look back and and hear all about it again. I took up a lot of time talking about that. Okay. So, all right, well, that's good. So James is here. Thanks, Rachel. My mom is here. All right. Falling Leaves. I don't know do I know Falling Leaves? I'm not sure. I know like Autumn Leaves. I'm not sure Falling Leaves. Is it like a recent song, or like a song from like the 90s or something? I'm trying to remember, but I know Autumn Leaves. That's like a jazz classic. But I can't think of Falling Leaves. I can do the theme song from The Office. Yes, James. All right, I'll do that next. And see where that goes. Listen to a 70s channel. Yeah, I do too. I think we talked about that earlier. There's a good channel on, if you have Sirius XM, there's a channel called The Bridge, and it covers a lot of the 70s and 80s music of that era, sort of the softer rock of those two decades there. It's a really good station. I get a lot of my ideas from the Bridge station, actually, for what I want to play for Sundays. All right. Oh, yeah, so it is Autumn Leaves. Okay, I can do Autumn Leaves a little bit. How about we mix that with the Office theme? Let's see how that goes. All right. Those two work together pretty well, I think. Autumn Leaves and the theme from The Office, the TV show. Okay. I liked when it worked out that they both had the in the middle of that. That seemed to work really well. Okay. Thanks for those requests. I'm going to do a song by Gordon Lightfoot now. This is called, and this is appropriate for where I am right now because out the window the sun is going down. So this song is called Sundown. That's a really well-known song. That's I've Had the Time of My Life, and that was made famous in the movie Dirty Dancing with Patrick Swayze. Before that, I did a lesser well-known song, but a song that I really like by an artist named Steve Winwood, who is known for his hits in the 70s and 80s, but he also was a really good piano player and electric organ player. So I don't think of him often for picking songs for these live streams, but I do love the music of Steve Winwood. It's of that time, but he is a really, really great keyboard player all around. Even Billy Joel, my favorite songwriter probably and piano player of that era, he mentions his influence by Steve Winwood as well. And Steve Winwood played on one of his albums as well, one of Billy Joel's albums. Anyway, a good artist. That song I played by him was called Valerie, and it has seen kind of a resurgence on some of the social media stuff. You may have recognized it from seeing it or hearing it in the background of videos and stuff like that. But it was not a really well-known hit of his. He had a couple other ones that were more well-known. But anyway, that was Steve Winwood's Valerie before that, and then we began that little section there with a song by Gordon Lightfoot. That was the song Sundown. So, all right. I thought I would close today with a medley of songs that I have kind of been waiting to do for about 2 weeks now. I've had it on the list and have not gotten to it. Other songs have gotten played beforehand and didn't quite fit in the mix of things, but I figured today I would do this. These are songs from the TV show Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So I thought it would be good to close today with 3 of these songs. They aren't the easiest. Well, one of them is not a very easy song to remember the chords to, so I may mess up a little bit, but here's some songs from Mr. Rogers. right, neighbors. That was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, a medley from that TV show. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. It was a smaller crowd tonight from what I've seen, but I have appreciated you all that have been here, and it's been good to have a more intimate program this evening. So I don't get to do a lot of those. We usually have a little bit more in the room, so it was a good change of pace from what we were used to. So once again, if you haven't already, listen to Yesteryear, my new album that's out online. You can check the links on my Facebook page, and I hope to create some visual content for that soon. I don't know how soon that will be yet with everything else going on, but I want to maybe create a video or two that showcases some of those songs. Yeah, so you don't have to buy the album. The album is free to listen to. It's on YouTube Music for free, and if you are a member of any of the other streaming platforms like Spotify, it's on there as well. Apple Music, and pretty much anything that sells music online. Amazon has it, I believe, to download as well. So anyway, looking forward to hearing your comments about that. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, I want to hear that too. It's always good to have critical feedback and know how to improve for next time. So thank you all so much for listening. I hope to see you all soon. I think next week I will probably be out. I think I'm going to a concert again, as I did about a month or so ago, at the Hollywood Bowl. So I'm looking forward to that. That's next Sunday night. But anyway, I'll be back in 2 weeks. So you can mark your calendars. I believe we'll probably be in October by that point, which is kind of scary. It's going that fast. We're already in October of this year. It seems like last October everything was so much different than it is now, but we're not quite out of all this yet. So I'm still here and bringing this music to you every week. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all in 2 weeks at same time and same place. And until then, have a good and safe couple weeks. All right, everybody. All right, goodbye.